Welcome back to our vlog channel. Of course, we are going to make a price list soon of what it will cost to repair the Golf. It will of course be an estimate because you only really know what it has become. When you have built the car, you always have unforeseen costs that we cannot take into account because yes, sometimes there are just really hidden defects in such a car that you can't see in advance. So you only find out after you are stripping the car, are building it up before we make that price list. Go assemble my gaming chair because on Instagram, if you don't follow us, I threw out a poll and I asked what kind of gaming chair should I buy. There have been a lot of responses about that. And I just stuck to your tips. Partly I received it here. It's a gaming chair with LED lighting on the side. And for me, the most important thing was that it actually sits comfortably. You can sit comfortably for a few hours in an office chair, which is recommended over a gaming chair, according to many tips I received. The gaming chair looks cool like a car seat and it'll look great in the studio we're making upstairs. Let's quickly unpack the gaming chair, put it together, and then we'll continue with the Golf quote. Let's go! As you could see on our main channel, we've already walked a small round around the car to see what the actual damage is. But anyway, there are always hidden defects when you buy a damaged car. And of course, you hope for as few as possible. Because hidden defects, those are things you can't put a price on. Suppose the differential of the gearbox is broken. We don't know that because we haven't driven the car yet. So you can't include that in this price calculation we're going to make now. Of course, we can include the visible damage. And of course, that the engine has broken down. And of course, we can fix that in two different ways. Engine damage. Either we replace the entire engine or we decide to refuse the engine ourselves to save cost, but is it worth it? Yes, that's the right question you're asking now. Because refusing such an engine we've never done that before. Secondly, we also need to engage other manpower for that. And third, we also need to get the necessary parts for it in-house to solve it all. So those are all the points you have if you are trying to refuse or repair something currently. Or you can simply choose to just buy a young used engine for this car and thereby actually tackle the problem in one go where there is a warranty, where there is an invoice, and where you just know I just installed that and we can start the car and drive away. Given the risk of reversing an engine and it not being beneficial, it doesn't seem worthwhile to me. We have already looked at what a young used engine costs for a Golf 8 GTI. Engine codes include DNP, DNP, A, DNP, B, and DNP.
Let's see.
Well, that's what we've been told. And since all DNP engines are interchangeable, it's not important to look at the last letter. Of course, I do think it's important to keep it as close to the original as possible. We want this car, like all our projects, to be completely successful the right way. That's why we don't buy an engine with 40,000 kilometers or 50,000 kilometers. No, it should actually come as close as possible to what is on the car. That's actually the best, or even less. We can choose there. This car already has 18,000 kilometers, so we won't put a very old engine in it. But a young used one, we have already found one online. This engine, it has also run 11,000 kilometers. So that means that it is actually in better condition than the engine that's in here.
Anyway, definitely better. Anyway,
yes, that's already an advantage you have, and we also don't have the time and the knowledge to refurbish such an engine. So that's why we might also choose the easy way to just purchase an engine with an invoice, right? Perhaps also the safer way in this case, because yes, we just don't want such an engine to break down again. And of course, we were lucky with our Honda engine that we replaced all the threaded rods. But that doesn't mean this overhaul will go well, because every overhaul has a caveat. And because this engine is full of grinding dust, it's quite dangerous to repair this engine. And that's why we honestly choose a safer route to just replace that engine. We then choose a complete engine with a turbo on it. All pipes included. Only task is transferring attachments from engine. Like an alternator, an air conditioning pump, a flywheel. That's basically just how you can make such a car succeed very quickly. So if you just swap those kinds of things instead of revising them. Yes, I think you already spend 2 or 3 weeks on revising if you really do it professionally. And if it's us, yes, we are over 20, really summer vacation, then we are only around our 20th, 25th done with revising the engine if you know us. By simply purchasing an engine, this project can actually succeed within a month. Yes, you heard it right. Succeed within a month. It still needs to be registered, and the spray area will take some time. I think that's a big step in the right direction if we can get this car started. The engine costs 3,900 euros. Yes, if you indeed have to bring in the part, it costs you money plus manpower plus your lost time to build the engine, so it's easy and
Cheap solution, aye.
to be honest, if we were to have this engine overhauled, you could also just get close to 3,900 euros. Because if it turns out that the crankcase is damaged, which I assume if you have so much bearing damage in the engine, as we have seen on our main channel, yes, then that crankcase is damaged. I did some online research. A crankcase for this car is just quickly 900 euros. For us, the bearings come in, the head gaskets come in, of course labor hours, and of course the cleaning process of such an engine. Yes, that can also be, just say 3,000 euros, 2,300 euros in total. So we wrote that down, 3,900 euros. Please take that knock block in your hand, and then we just continue writing down what we see. Cosmetic damage.
So, and
What's funny is if you want a brand new engine costs about 5,500 euros excluding value added tax. And there.
is another one.
Consider transferring all attachments and the turbo, which has deteriorated due to extensive grinding. These are always important factors in our decision-making process. A new engine costs an additional euro 5,500 plus value added tax, whether used or new. And a used engine with 11,000 kilometers costs 2,300 euros according to the margin scheme. And there's still 900 euros deposit on top of that. So, we have to first add that 900 euros to the 3,900 euros. And if we then turn in such an old engine, we of course get our 900 euros back. I immediately see a hood. It has a big dent in it. It's not repairable. Often it's cheaper to just replace a panel like a hood or a side panel all at once instead of repairing it. Unless there's a small dent, but here there's also a significant bend. So, do you have the hood? I have the hood standing. A little headlight. Yes, left.
A little headlight.
Right, a front bumper. Did you mention that already? Yes, I've already mentioned his screen. There's a big kink in this. Just replace the front bumper. No need to repair it. Actually, we only need a lower lip for the front bumper. The front bumper is also broken, isn't it? Yes, and a complete outer bumper. I think the inner bumper, because such a bumper is built up in several parts. I think only the outer bumper is damaged, and that of course makes a difference. The less you replace, the cheaper it is. Or sometimes you have to find a complete bumper. Does this one have a camera? Is that somewhere? I have no idea.
It does have a radar. No.
The radar of our Gilole AMG was located behind the bumper.
And that...
Some Audis and Volkswagens have a large camera that can determine your location on the road, but I don't see it on this vehicle. And that also makes a huge difference in... Those cameras cost over 1,000 euros each, I think.
Wow.
Well, let's hope for that. Don't hope for that. A side screen on the front left then. We have a de-rendinger light here. Did you also mention that? Front right? Yes, that's part of the bumper, isn't it? And then I have a parking sensor here, or has it just been clicked out? Because if it's been clicked out, is it still there? Yes, it is.
It is.
Just jumped out. Yes, he seems quite whole. Yes, he is also not damaged. That's super nice. Parking sensors cost bar 180 each, adding up quickly. The left front side panel also needs replacement. I'll include that. Front left. Well, a door. That seems pretty clear to me. Yes, this thing really just needs to be fixed according to spec. It is a Golf 8 GT with 18,000 kilometers. And it just has to be sublime, because you want to drive it too, right? I want to drive in it for a while, because I think this is a very cool car. I never thought I would buy a Golf 8. And I just buy it again with damage, and that's how things come your way. Then we have a... The handle is fine, the door was complete, but the mirror is slightly blurry. It was still working, but there's a chance it popped out or something. I don't know. Is this just kind of how it is? No, something is loose. But he did. He went in and out, I say.
Maybe we should
Set that up so that...
It's just a...
Question mark. Left side skirt. A door, I think that can be repaired.
I think that...
It can also be repaired. It's a matter of welding shut and plastering. This will be painted. This tab is damaged. It is also cracked. Yes, bumper lid. Oh yes, it is broken. He has been glued back. Yes?
Yes, something like that, I don't know.
Then of course we had those two belts that we didn't have when converting from gray license plate to normal. Yes, what do you want to say? That the belts may not have been dismantled because we have no faults on the dashboard, but aren't they just hidden behind the covers? Shall we quickly check? I think it's a small effort, maybe pull the cat loose and we see them sitting. Okay, yes, I don't know what you mean, but give me the camera. But you go, look, yes, it would be a nice surprise if they just sit in the car. Because as you know, we have on our main channel at episode 1 of this car have dismantled a piece of gray license plate, the box that I was lost. So yes, we have on our main channel that box dismantled that. There stands, that was the box for gray license plate. But with that, we of course still have everything back, only the belts we could not find. So you think it might be...
Yes, because they
are supposed to run out here, so to speak. You have a recess here. That's where they're supposed to run out. But because we don't have any malfunction on the dashboard regarding seatbelts, airbags, they either disconnected it and put a piece in between, or they are still in the car. So my hope is that they are just in the car. And yes, let's find out if that's the case. Just pull it, right? Wow. Look at this. What is that? That's a belt. They taped it back. This is precisely what I hoped for. So they didn't expand it. Here.
It is.
Good news. One thing though, yes, the seatbelt's closed, they are here.
Not hidden.
These seatbelts in the back, left and probably the back right too, we can just tackle from the list, which is super good news. That
We don't have to
buy. We don't have to buy them. I'm still thinking, shouldn't we customize these in a special color?
Delicious.
Why not? That we send a message to Vibes saying, yo Vibes, but those guys do that, right?
They do.
So customize interiors, customize seat belts. Shouldn't we do a red belt or just with a red stripe? If this is a car you'd like to drive, isn't it just cool to do those belts? What is the money for those belts? I believe it was absolutely nothing at Vibes.
200 euros or so? Yes. Yes, it was 250 euros on the head, I believe.
So that's not too bad. Yes, for 4 belts, that's really not bad at all. But then you have to take it apart again. But anyway, now that we know they're in there, it's a nice cost we're saving. Because honestly, when we bought this car, we didn't see them.
No, and
We did take them into consideration, so to speak, in this kind of calculation that we made in our head. Yes, indeed, we have never really made a calculation on paper, which we are not working on. So, this is a nice windfall. I think such a belt set easily costs 100, 150, 200 euros. Here, take the camera. Oh, then I'll make a note, because we are already slowly walking here with a cup of rear light. Oh, yes. Of course, it's the most luxurious with equalizer light. Dynamic frequency or equalizer light, whatever it's called. The rear light and that bumper are really nice, aren't they?
yes, they're...
2 parts were undamaged, the spoiler and the roof. Also, there wasn't a single scissor jack for the license plate holder, which we are really happy with because that is quite the thing in the Netherlands. Holes are quickly drilled for license plates, or they are popped on or secured with parkers, and there are simply no holes in this. How nice is that? That exhaust with mud, as if underwater. Upgrade it for later, a thick Akrapovic on it. Do you have this then? Right, rear light. I do have a small scratch here, but I think this can be polished if
I see it like this.
There's a big kink here, just like the scissor restorer. It's dented, as you can see. Is it still intact? But I think this can be repaired. Yes, window.
Front right.
What are we going to do with this? Stairs?
No.
Listen, what are we going to stairs? No, that needs to be replaced though. Yes? Yes. Just do the door frame, right rear, right front front door window, and then we have the mesh of the pano part, right? The mesh of the pano. That's why the roof is not closing now. Because if the roof opens here, a mesh comes up, and that is broken. A leg is broken, and that, yes, that actually ensures that it is a certain system, that it works safely, and that's why it doesn't close. This is just what he does. That's called a wind catcher dancer for fly catcher. A mirror on the right outside, then it is really completely broken. We do have this one against that outer cover, we do have in color, so that's nice. That's why never throw things away. When you buy a shadow car, everything is welcome. In this case, a mirror cover in color already saves on cost because you don't have to have it sprayed. Yes, there is a dent here. Yes, they just plaster the window frame, but no. Stock or window frame left for you think to do everything.
Yes, and
This rubber also needs to be replaced, and here this someone also then needs a new window. Then and then we also have a lot of dirt damage, but I'm not sure yet whether I'll have this repaired. That I'm going to take another set. I like the look of those Golf R wheels, but the car isn't an actual R model. It's the upgrade everyone does, because the standard GT wheels are less attractive. That's why they'll all offer R wheels as a factory option. Fortunately, no airbags were deployed. Well, that's the beauty. It's not nice. No, now is the engine broken, but on the other hand, it does save you from replacing a dashboard, all the airbags. What would you prefer, replacing an engine or a dashboard? We, of course, don't know yet whether the seatbelt warning is correct or not, so we should actually fix that first before we have the seatbelts tuned at vibes. That's a very good tip, yes. We're going to make a price calculation now. The battery's still good. The battery. Those are the things you overlook for a moment, but that's also a
costly one, isn't it?
And I can already see the comments coming in from our first episode about why we don't have a battery booster. Well, we did order one because we were really messing around with batteries. Yes, that is true. So we're going to make a price calculation now, see what it costs. We're going to Google marketplaces to see where we're going to get those parts from. In what it's going to cost. Lithuania, Poland. To be honest, many parts from there are reasonably priced compared to the Netherlands. So, I'm seeing it now. Yes, guys, there we are about 2.5 hours later. We've been brainstorming and we've placed 2 large orders, where we've already made a down payment on one. That means we actually, yes, for 75%. All the parts have not in color, unfortunately, but well, yes. Well, that it's ours. I must pick them all up, so I'll go to Rotterdam next Saturday and to Uden on Sunday. And then we have almost everything complete. And why didn't we order them in color? Well, that's how it is. Since the car is actually going to be painted for 90%, so actually, except for the roof and the tailgate, have decided to have the parts. So, for screen hood front bubble, to come in a different color. Because if you do order them in the original color, then where I would maybe be a shade off, which will not look nice. So then it still has to be painted.
Yes, so
with that line of thinking, we have therefore ordered all those parts. Good news, everything is available. We have also received 2 prices for it. And the price difference is insane.
right? Yes.
To give an example, the color match front bumper costs 650 euros. A random different color costs about 250, which makes a significant difference in price. I think this is quite a high-end color. So people will also say if you have one side panel that is damaged, people might opt for a color anyway, right? Instead of spraying the entire side. For us, as you also indicate, yes, the car will probably be sprayed all around on 3 parts and then not. Then you might as well take everything with you. If you then shift color and you have bought some expensive parts, you are just a shaker. Then you just double bag in the Bible. So yes, we think we have made the right choice here. Just to give an indication, the parts we have found now, we don't have everything yet. So we think we will go for the small things. We'll order from the dealer, like these kind of flaps. So keeping that in mind, how much do we come out in total?
Yes.
Including engine? Plus or minus around 8,750 euros in added tax value. So it's a decent amount to repair such a car, but it's worth it. We eventually come up with a final sum of what that total car has cost us at the end of the repair. We haven't discussed the unexpected expenses and minor details we still need to order from the dealer. So we're still keeping the total price a secret. We'll tell you that at the end of the damage repair process. But the good news is, we're going to install a second-hand engine with 17,000 kilometers on it. In other words, it has run slightly less than this one.
1,000 kilometers.
1,000 kilometers less, not too bad. So the parts prices are still naturally without spray costs, and the labor cost we do not calculate anyway. But I am really extremely curious if we have made the right purchase here. The parts have at least been ordered now. Yes, albeit not in color. I think it's going to be close. Whether we have made the right choice to buy this car, and whether, yes, a better used car could have bought. So with that said, this short vlog ends. We did find it quite, well, maybe by now a long-winded vlog. We have now received an indication of what we need, in what we are going to order, and what has already been ordered. A big progress for today. If you enjoyed this vlog, remember to subscribe and like us. And then we'll just see you at a new vlog. We'll see each other soon. Ciao!